gave us life. Can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis, a conviction in the minds of the people that these liberties are the gift of God? That they are not to be violated but with his wrath. Thomas Jefferson was worried. Indeed, I've trembled for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever. We have half our country, South Carolina. This is what they sound like. This is what they look like. Since they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God. He's speaking, the Apostle Paul, to the Roman Empire. Now look at what this sounds like. I'm reading it, but I can quote it. You say, it's a picture of the people of the Roman Empire with no Jesus. No Jesus. The crime rate is always high. No Jesus, the murder rate is always high. You get Jesus, the murder rate goes down. The crime rate goes down. With Jesus, the love rate goes up. Without him, the love rate goes down. Right? It's that simple. I look at the people who live by this book. I look at the ones who do not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God. Don't tell me about any God. Because they don't think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, God gives them over to a depraved mind to do what ought not to be done. Now listen to this. Once you get God out of your mind, in spite of what your founding fathers said, now we don't need this Bible, we don't need religion, we don't need morality, your freedom's going to leave you. That's why I'm here. Godly man. Marine. I'm thinking, who's this guy? So they told me about John Warren. I said, get me on the airplane. Without a knowledge of God, they've become full of every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. Look at Hollywood. Look at the educational system and what they're teaching our children in these institutions of higher learning. No God allowed in the schools. My generation decided that. How's that worked out for you, America, the last 60 years with no God? I mean, look at us. They are filled with murder, envy, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God-haters, insolent, arrogant, boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. A guy called me the other day. He said, I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Robertson. I had another guy that talks to him before I talk to him. I said, find out if he's legit. He said, I was born a man, then I became a woman, and now I'm back to being a man again. He told me his story of his immoral lifestyle, and I said, did you know all the time? Did you know you were lying to yourself? He said, I knew, but I did it anyway. He said, my life was in despair. I had suicidal thoughts. He said, I finally said, you know, he started listening to some program, and he was hearing a little preaching, the Word of God. And he said, the more I listened, finally I said, you know what? I'm going to give my life to God. And I'm going to follow Jesus. He died for my sins. He'll take these sins away. He'll resurrect me from the dead. Well, that's what he did, and he wanted to talk to me. And I let him be on an episode of CRTV. You can pick it up there if you like. And you say, now, all of his sins have been removed. He's a child of the resurrection. What I'm trying to tell you, South Carolina people, is we need godly people in government. I'm some fellow that we had that TV show and all that, you know. So now what are you doing? CRTV. You say you're still sharing the same message with everybody, trying to get people to love God and love their neighbor. What is wrong with that? You got to read, and he's a godly man. They disobey their parents. I'm giving you the opposite of godliness. I'm giving you the opposite. They disobey their parents. They are senseless. You hear them walking with signs and you listen to them, you're like, what? I mean, you can't make any sense out of it. They are faithless, no Jesus. They are heartless and they are ruthless. They've killed 60 million of their own children. Yeah. What in the world? And then they tell us they're really concerned and their heart is broken because we're separating the children from the adults down there on the border. I'm like, and you're the ones that have slaughtered 60 million of your own children? And you're telling me you're concerned for what's going on at the border when you try to get across the border? You break the law and... Therefore, look, we need godly men in positions of government. Our goal is to be the salt of the earth, the light of the world. Look, my qualifications, I'll end with this. You say, Phil, so what exactly are you? Are you a preacher? Do I look like a preacher? I'm no preacher. Not in the sense you're thinking about. You say, you've never been through seminary. So you've been trained in some religious group. No. But the congregation probably meets 12 or 1,500 people. And they said to me one day, Phil, we want you to be one of our overseers, one of our elders, to look after us. Now, South Carolina, you think about it. I'm going to read to you a list of qualifications in order for me to have been asked by that congregation of 1,200 people. We want you to oversee us. We want you to be one of our elders. We've watched your life. What I'm trying to tell y'all is, when we get men that run our states, a governor, he's actually looking after us, right? Listen to these qualifications. The reason I left you in Crete was that you might straighten out what was left unfinished and appoint overseers, elders in every town. Watch this. Just like governors, representatives, senators, you're like governing authorities. An elder must be blameless. He's like, blameless? Be quite the man that you try to get him on something and you find it very difficult. He must be the husband of one wife, no divorced. He's going to work with people who got divorces. You can be forgiven when you divorce your spouse, but you can't be an elder. Nope. One man, one woman, you say, you're going to counsel others. They will hold it against you if you have a divorce or two and you're telling them on why they shouldn't get one. You understand the point? Husband of one wife, A man whose children believe and are not open to the charge of being wild and disobedient. I raised 4 sons. If they were wild and disobedient and wouldn't obey me or Miss Kay, I'm out. I can't be an elder. Nope. Don't know how to raise your own children. Think about if we applied these kind of standards to people in government. See how far we've come down? Watch. Since an overseer is entrusted with God's work, he must be blameless. Watch this. Not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not given too much wine. You say, how much is not much, Phil? Not much. That means a little. Okay. But he didn't say not given to any. He just said not given much wine. That rules out drunkenness. Not violent. Check this out when you look toward the governments worldwide. Not pursuing dishonest gain. We look at it, the country is 20 trillion in the hole. I don't know about South Carolina, you say, but I'll tell you one thing. If we have someone up there with all the money flowing through there, the last thing you want is a fellow who doesn't meet these qualifications. Reckon there's any pursuing of dishonest gain going on?